Hey guys, for this video we're going to try and diagnose the no start problem on my Craftsman riding lawnmower. Go through a couple of troubleshooting steps. So if you have a problem with your riding lawnmower, maybe we can figure it out together. So I was just going through the yard, it died, thought maybe I was out of gas or something. Tried to start it again, it just cranked without any sputtering or anything, but then it smoked a little bit from under the engine. Then I know, no, this is a different kind of problem we're having right here. So it came over here. Now, right now, it's not smoking anymore, it just smoked a little bit, and then you crank it, it'll just go da-da-da-da-da-da, and nothing happens, right? So we're trying to figure out what's wrong with this thing. Now, I know the smoke came from the engine, but I couldn't see exactly where because the shroud or cover was still over the top of it. But generally, when your engine's not starting, first it's cranking, so we know we have 12 volts at the battery. We know power's getting up to the starter. We know the starter's working because da-da-da-da-da. Okay? Now, next thing is we need fuel and we need electrical. We need spark. So the easiest way is one of these little Lyle, I think it's Lyle, pretty sure it was Lyle, but it's a spark plug, it's a spark checker. So you plug this thing in line with your spark plug, unplug your wire, plug that guy in that one, plug this back into your spark plug, and this thing will light up if you have spark. Now, when this is going, it can also start, so just be aware that you're not stopping it from starting, but this will light up if you have spark. We have spark, so we know that's not the problem. Now, for fuel, spray a little starting fluid in the intake right here, and it starts and dies. So we know it will run. We have compression, that means we have spark. It's definitely a fuel problem. Now, normally when something smokes, you're thinking electrical, not fuel. But you notice we have this little sensor here at the bottom, which from the outside, nothing really looks wrong with this thing. The wires look to be in decent shape. They're not messed up or anything, but this is a fuel shutoff solenoid. So when you give this 12 volts, it allows fuel to pass through into the engine, prevents like flooding or just any unwanted fuel delivery, if you will. So one thing about this is when we turn on the key, if I'm quiet, you should hear a click for the solenoid. We got nothing. We got silence. Now let me show you. So we got nothing there, and I'll just prove it to you with the starting fluid so you know I'm not a liar, at least not in this instance. So you can see, starts up, burns off the starting fluid, and then dies again. So I'm going to go ahead and assume that we need to change this solenoid right here. But as we're looking, so we see here, the wires aren't frayed or damaged in any way. This is a ground just going right here. And then we got a power wire going over this way. And that comes right here. And goes into this plug right here. So that wire, whoop, let's get some focus. And then it goes into this bundle, and any problem back there, unless it's caused by a mouse, is pretty unlikely. So I think it just gave out and we need to change it. So we're just going to unplug this guy. And then we'll get a wrench. You see those flat spots on there, and unscrew this. Now fuel could probably leak out, so we're going to get a little clamp and clamp this line before we do anything. And little line clamps like this are really useful for something like this. We're just going to slap it over here. It's easier to do two-handed, but then this is going to swing around, and then we'll tighten it up. You'll see in a second. Once you tighten it down there, it pinches off the hose, so whatever fuel's in here can obviously still leak out, but we won't get any more leakage coming from the tank. So now we'll get that wrench and get on there. So we have it off. Here's the bottom, the bowl you were looking at that's up underneath. Goes on just like this, and then this was going through the hole at the bottom here. Now, it's like kind of like a needle and seat guy. When its resting position is like this, and that's stopping gas flow. When you give this 12 volts, the solenoid is energized, and it pulls this in, which allows gas to flow through. And that's the click. that you hear when you turn on the key. Now, I already tested this, plugged it back in with it sitting here, and it smoked as soon as I hit the key, but let's see if I can get it for you guys. It's telling us that it's shorting out. It needs to be replaced, but let's see what happens. Whoa, there we go. So we need a new fuel shutoff solenoid. One last thing while we're waiting on the new solenoid, which by the way comes with the new wire harness, but you should be able to just use the old one unless you have frayed or damaged wires at all. Up underneath there's this little seal when the bowl guy comes out, so just make sure you don't lose it. It goes right up in here. And mine kind of came halfway out, so I said pull it the rest of the way out, but just don't, it's going to leak if you don't have this, so don't lose it. Make sure to put it back. Our new solenoid came in, and it does come with the wiring connectors, harness. If you need it, I'm going to try and reuse the connector that we had, make things a little bit easier. It also did come with this washer. It fell off when I was taking it off the first one, but it just slides on there like so. So don't lose your washer. Let's go give this thing a quick test so I can show you how it's going to work. Then we'll install it, and hopefully the lawnmower starts. Hopefully. We're going to try and dodge the raindrops here a little bit. Now, I plugged it in just so you can see what it's supposed to do. See if I can show it to you when I turn the key on. See how it pulls it in? And that's what a working solenoid looks like. So we're going to pull this one back out. I just kind of threw it in there to hold everything together. And then once we get fuel back through the system, should start right up. Installed, plugged in. Let's see if it starts. We'll also have to keep an eye out for a fuel leak. If we have anything around where that seal was up there, we may have to take it back off and make sure it's seated properly. But we'll just keep an eye on that, and let's start it up. Oh, there we go. Good as new. There it is, guys. Getting your lawnmower working again is that easy. Thanks for watching.